Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where I want to do a little further work on our river here. Now we currently have these tiers at this moment, but I don't want to have tiers of altitude here. What I want to have ultimately is a bit of a slope. So we're going to put in a bit of a slope. And how else? We're going to use the slope tool. So we're just going to do something kind of like this. That did not really work the way I wanted it to. Okay, so something kind of like that should do for now. And then we can just use the Soften Terrain tool to soften that right on out. And it'll be something kind of like that. So what that will do, ultimately, is it will, well, unleash a fair amount of water over here. But it'll also just generally smooth out these transitions. And that's exactly what we're angling to do here, is just smooth these transitions out a little bit here. So out over here, we can have it come out this direction, since we know that we have a section over there as well. Okay, so something kind of like that. And eventually the water will figure all that out, right? For now, of course, we need to come down over here, set our altitude, and just continue to have this be sloped so that the water actually flows down, because apparently waterfalls are not a thing with this water model. So that's good to know. So next up, we're going to head down here and do exactly the same thing. It'll take a little bit of time, of course, for the water to get that all figured out. Cool. Next up, down here. Now, we've already got some water down here, but that will need to eventually get fixed, or rather get deepened. There we go. And now we'll get this section going. Cool. That'll do. And down over here. So this height, and this is starting to get down to about where we want to be in terms of height, right? Yeah, we don't do too much other height adjustment here, although I guess there is some right here, although that's significantly underwater at this point and probably won't ultimately do too much. But we can just get a little bit of additional smooth out there. Also, we could theoretically go from here and do something kind of like this and just smooth this out ever so slightly and open that up a little bit. Okay, so something kind of like this would be what we'd be looking at doing. Okay. That should do for now. Now, this might create some flooding problems. We'll find out. But we do also need quite a lot of additional commercial and low-density residential. Now, there's some low-density residential that would eventually go in over here, but there is some commercial that we can put in over here. So that is absolutely great. That's going to be low-density commercial, but we do need to get our on-off ramps in some of these positions put in. Now, this is going to be a potentially awkward location to put in an on-ramp. Or rather, this would be an off-ramp, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. And that's probably going to be sloped too steep, if I had to guess, because this is definitely a bit of a problematic area. We've already dealt with it in, this region up over here. We've made this a lot better anyway. But I think that we're going to have some awkward situations here as far as on-off ramps go. So here we need an on-ramp, and we'll see about just bringing that right on in. Right there works. And then out over this direction, an off-ramp. So something about like that. I don't love this setup that we've got here. We had a pillar issue with putting it exactly where I wanted to before, and now we don't. So that's fine. We can also, if we wanted to, go through and deal with the left turn situation here. And that's absolutely fine for the moment. Okay, out over here. Off-ramp. So that would go about here. That slope too steep. Okay, we'll back it off a little bit, maybe go a little wider. That works. Noted. That's overlapping items. Okay, that's a pillar issue back here. Okay, so maybe if we went to here and weren't quite so wide, I guess that works. I don't love it, but with that pillar, it's about the best that we're going to get right now. That slope too steep. That's a 24% grade. Okay, let's take it out slightly wider and see how it would go out over here. That's a 25% grade. Okay, so we're falling off this direction as well. Maybe we actually need to go narrower over here. That's a 27% grade. So that is a negative. Okay. 25%. This would be a 20% grade. So this would work. Obviously, that's non-viable. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to take out this section of road. We are going to flatten out the terrain here. I want to reduce the size of this. So we're going to grab this height, and I'm just going to flatten the terrain out to here. There we go. And I'm going to build in... This isn't straight, is it? I'm going to take that out of there. And I'm going to build in this section of road down to here. Really? Pillar? Okay. We'll get that out of there for now. And we'll build this guy in over here. About like that. Sure. What is this doing? Hang on. Okay, yeah, that's about what I expected it to do, actually. But this is a one-way, and I don't actually want a one-way. Okay, there we go. So we'll get that going for the time being. Now we need to bring our highway back over.
Pending updates to our power
So
grid,
that slope too steep there. This is going to have to go up a bit, of course. And I think we need to actually take out this section here. Can we slap in our roundabout with that gone? No, because of slope too steep this way. Gotcha. So let's take that out for the moment, and we'll get the roundabout in here. Slope too steep where? Here. Awkwardly enough.
A low flush toilet, cut back on watering the lawn, and shower with a friend whenever possible.
So then this is in the wrong spot.
Service announcement.
Well, that's awkward. Okay, so let's think about bringing this guy in to here, then putting in the roundabout. That should be in the right place. Now, we can see that there's definitely some height issues there. Maybe we actually want to bring that up 10 meters. So in that case, can we adjust the height of this like so? No, we can't. Okay, so that means that this section of highway would need to have its height changed about like this. Although we might want to have a lower height step here. So go to like 15 meters. About there. Oh, is that the wrong angle? That might be the wrong angle. Hang on, let's try this one more time. Okay. So right about
Thank you, Professor.
here. It is indeed a question of priority. Yes, that is about the right height. Okay, that looks good. Then we bring this guy right on in to be here. This would come in right up over here. That looks good. And then this would get brought out over this way. Now, we'd want to go back up to the full height step and have this go like right there, right? So this would need to go about... Okay, let's snap only to angle. Sure, that'll do. So now we're going to have a problem with coming in over this, right? We need to get a little bit more height here, actually. So this needs to be a little bit more uphill. So that means that we need this to be maybe around that same 15-meter mark. Yes. Okay. Now we can bring it down to 10 meter and have it be about like this. Okay. Whoa, what is this? That did not connect well. That did not really merge the way it was supposed to. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. That's more like it. Awkwardness over here, yes. But in theory, we should be able to put this on-off ramp in over here pretty well at this point. So now we bring this down to a height of 10. And that slope too steep. Okay, so we would bring it out over here. Even that slope too steep, but that's only a 20% grade. We might be able to sneak this in but it'll have to be a little on the wide side. Overlapping items there. So this works, but there's a pillar. Did I just see one that worked down over here? No. Okay. Little wider. That works. That is exceptionally wide, right? No doubt about that. But we just bring in the other one out over here. There we go. And no left turn here or here. No straight either. I actually just want it to go like that. So this is very wide. No doubt about that. And I do want to remove these sections of road here because now we're going to use the soften terrain tool and smooth all of this right on out. Okay, I want to get rid of this section of road as well. Have that all be smoothed. Okay. We might finally have this almost under control. Maybe. Almost. Okay, I want this section of road right here. That would go up here. Cool. This would go in here, which would then connect here. Only bridge area is this at this point. Okay, I think we can get even that a little bit better. So what we would do is we take this section of road out, put this section of road in here, and then rebuild this section like that. That did exactly the same thing. Okay, never mind. I guess we're just going to have a little bit of space out over here. Ooh, out over here too? I guess it's not bad. We mostly get that covered from the side road. Mostly. I don't love it, but given what we've got to work with, I guess it'll be fine. Okay, so now we need to figure out how we're going to handle this nonsense. So the hard side should be out on this side, I believe. And this is going to be going from like here up to here, right? Actually, that just works. And then this would go out over like here. I don't love that angling, but it would end up going maybe a little further out. Overlapping items, but here would work. It's definitely imperfect, but I mean, given the height issues that we've been having here, we'll take it. That is fine. Down over here, then, we know that we had problems with this one before. So let's see what we can get done here now. Probably not all that much. That slope too steep, 23.8% grade. Okay, noted. We can get it done over here relatively easily. But what if we wanted to come out here, right? That slope too steep. So what we need to do then is what we did before. We need to take this section of road out. We need to level this area, and I'm going to remove that structure. So we need to level out this area right here. That was the smooth tool. I want the level tool. So we just level it like that, right? Then we run this section of road through again up to somewhere around here-ish, although that is apparently impacting the highway. Yeah, the highway dips down significantly there, so we can take this out for the moment, run this section of road through. It's actually quasi-fine. We'll get back to it. I'm not 100% okay with that situation, but now we can run our highway back through here. And of course it needs to be up 10 meters. So we would put this to be, I'd like it to just connect here. So that's a plus 2.4% grade. Yes. So that seems okay. Next, what we would need to do is we would need to bring in the off-ramp right up over here, right? And that would come in about like that. There we go. Now we're going to remove the sections of road that are here. And we smooth this terrain back out. So we just soften that out about like that. And then we rerun the road one more time. The road, or rather the hills, definitely make this awkward. There's no doubt about that. We're getting overlapping items here, which actually doesn't surprise me really at all. I think that's the wrong lane there. Yes. Okay. There we go. The hills make it awkward, but it is a doable thing. Apparently these don't have road access. Okay, I beg to differ, but whatever. It's actually because of the hill level here. We can see that those roads weren't actually directly on the ground. And they should be. There shouldn't be a problem with that. Let's just rebuild them and see if that changes things. Looks okay now. Beautiful. So this section, of course, is going to be zoned light commercial. Okay. And everything up over here is going to be zoned light commercial as well. So it's going to be about like that. And then we've got this out over here, which is high density commercial, right? So we want to make sure that that's correctly zoned. This up here, we're not zoning right now, although that's a road maintenance depot and a crematorium. This really probably should be low density business here. So I'm just going to zone up this area here as low density business. Okay, and then we unzoned a little bit of industrial over here, which is not what we intended to do. There we go. And what were these zoned as? High density business, I think, but it's, I think, okay to have them be low density business. Yeah, for the moment, that should be absolutely fine. So that gives us a bunch of additional commercial. As far as our residential goes, we have some additional residential down here. It's not a lot, but it is a thing that exists. So there is that. Thinking about this highway here, we probably don't want to do too much with it. What I want to do right now is I want to just let the simulation run for a bit here. And we'll see what the water ends up being like now that we've made a few minor changes to the water situation. We can definitely see there's a swell coming here. But hopefully the water will overall sit below the road line. That's the goal here anyway. We'll see if that ends up happening. Fingers crossed on that one. But for now, this should be relatively fine. Now, our primary issue at this point is lack of low-density housing. What do we have going on over here? There's a fire on this highway? Oh, that looks like a pretty bad accident, actually. What do we have for fire down in this area? Here is our nearest fire station. Okay. It's not that far, actually. But there is a fire here as well. Apparently there's a lot of fires going on. There should be a fire station very close to here, though. Yeah, there absolutely is. And all 4 vehicles have been dispatched. This fire is now spreading over here. We may want to consider upgrading this firehouse. Done. Doubling the number of fire trucks that are available here at this firehouse. Perfect. That's a garbage truck there. We can see there's 1 vehicle in maintenance right now, and that's because we're at 88% efficiency. Not enough employees. Okay, now we've got this whole meta block here that is kind of wasted, to be honest, right now. We're not getting a lot out of it, and that's because this is dense. We had a small amount of demand for dense residential, but I'm thinking about just rezoning this to all be light residential. We just don't have the demand to have this here. Now the demand is creeping up. Of course it is. Okay, in that case, I'm just going to make, like, just this area here be high density. Just these 3 blocks. There we go. And most of this can be low density housing. We'll start transitioning that if we see any additional demand. But for now, we clearly need more low-density housing. Very, very clearly. We are struggling with low-density housing at this moment. So that all seems reasonably fine. I do want to move this guy up to be here. There we go. And we'll move this guy over to here for now. Now, this is going to be a problem eventually. We're going to have to, like, redo the height of this road. That's not surprising. I'm not surprised about that one at all. I think that we should decide where we want additional residential, and broadly that means buying additional territory out over this way, I feel like. So let's just buy this entire area. That'll be fine for now. And then we can think about considering to expand our highways out this way. We can think about considering to expand. That is interesting wording right there. By interesting, I mean not great. Checking in on our water situation, we can see the water is absolutely continuing to flow in here. And it will be starting to spread down this direction. Cool. That looks good. We're working on filling in our river again. That will take some time, but the water levels will rise up eventually. But they'll only get so high, right? They'll only get so high. Because we currently have the dam over here, and I think water is indeed flowing through the dam, but it's kind of hard to tell, since water doesn't, like, come out this side. That's definitely mildly awkward, but sure. So we can see we're only at 12% efficiency here due to low water depth. Huh. Why are we having low water depth here? That sure looks like deep water to me. Maybe we need to push this back a little further. So let's bring this up to 100% brush strength. And a 100 size brush. And let's just pull this back a little bit and set up our slope to be somewhere around here. So we can grab our slope terrain tool and just do something kind of like this at this point. I mean, that's definitely not perfect. No doubt about it. Okay, something about like this will do the trick. There we go. Now how's that water depth looking? 86. Well, that's better. I wonder if there's like air bubbles underneath the water here or something. I don't know how that ends up working, but it sure looks like there's deep water here to me. But it might have something to do with a lack of water flow up this direction. The water is still on its way downriver, right? And this looks like it's awfully close to getting up onto the road. But it's not on the road, and it will definitely want to fill in this area first. So we'll see how that ends up working, but for now, our water depth looks quasi-okay. And we're about to link up our water over here. It's just slowly creeping across. But we do need to do something about our situation here, right? Our situation being, we need so much more low-density housing. So much more. Like a crazy amount of additional low-density housing. There's some medium-density housing that is needed. But low-density is absolutely the biggest problem. Where's this fire engine at? I'm a little bit concerned right now about our fire coverage. But I think we just had a lot of fires breaking out at once, and I think it's actually okay. Why would there be a traffic jam here? I don't think it's getting significantly slowed, to be honest. At least it shouldn't be. It's just people, like, changing lanes. Like, that's not actually a problem. Now, traffic seems to be broadly flowing okay here. Maybe it's being caused in part by this accident up here? We could change this section to be a 3-lane, though. No doubt about it. So we would go into the highway, 3-lane, one-way highway, and we would just bump this out over here. It's not a bad idea to have this section be 3-lane, because we know we're probably going to put on-off ramps over here again. Hang on, that was not actually the way I wanted that to go. Okay, so that goes there, and then we bring it back up to a 3-lane highway about like that. Okay, and then this would go about here. Cool. So we'll take that up to 3 lanes. We don't love what's going on here, do we? No, we don't. So let's take that down to 2 lanes, and those 2 lanes would be there, and then back up to 3 lane, like that. Problem solved. Okay. So in theory, having 3 lanes there should speed this up. Maybe. There's some lane changing there. The pathfinding might get ironed out. I definitely do want to make sure that we are not doing a left-hand turn here. So something like that. Okay. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to start developing a new housing area for our low-density residential. We clearly need a lot more residential. There's no doubt about that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.